You want to talk about real estate agents. Why were you so fired up for this to be on our podcast?
So I just got a message, right? Hey. So we've got our property listed on private property, and we're mostly getting messaged by agents. I had a look on private property, and on the properties you can actually see if it's assigned to an agent or it's listed privately.
Oh yeah.
And I just searched in our area, and ours is the only listed privately property. All of them have like an agent logo there. So I think private property has become kind of agent property.
I felt that way.
But
the first time we had it on there, I felt that they were more biased towards agents.
I don't know if they're biased towards agents. It's just, I think most people find the process intimidating. And so if an agent's there to like hold their hand and kind of do what seems like a heavy lift. But anyway, so we've got our property listed there. And so we got a little bit of interest, but most of our interest has been from agents wanting to sell our property for us. But that's a very blanket statement that can mean very different things. Sell our property for us, right? Because we're doing all the work that's entailed in actually selling our property. That means, we're the ones making the sacrifice. We're, cleaning up the place. We take the photographs. We're paying the fees to private property. We're, doing the write-up. We're managing communication to clients. We're doing the negotiation. We're doing the paperwork, the admin, right? Offer the purchase. We've got that from the lawyers. We, guide the potential buyer on how that process works. We're going to manage all the admin in terms of electricity, papers we need to get, and the gas. Like, we do everything. Everything's on us. But we'll get messages from agents saying, can I sell the property for you? Or I've got a buyer, can I share your property with them, right? Which isn't really what they're asking. What they're asking is, can you give me a bunch of money to show your property? But like, even that's like, it's a little bit misleading. But so I get a message from an agent now. Oh, I've got a buyer, they're interested in a 3-bedroom cluster, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't think most people even know what clusters are. If you're looking for a place, you're probably not going to an agent saying, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom cluster. You're probably saying something more along the lines of, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom place in a security estate. So already it comes across like fishy. It's just like, well, that's how it's listed on private property. You got a 3-bedroom cluster. But normal people don't talk like that.
Yeah, they use those technical terms.
Yeah. So it comes across a bit weird, and
we had to Google what cluster and everything.
Yeah, I still am not sure what our house can really be defined as within like most of these common terms. But anyway, and I know this is a tactic. They've actually done this to us before. The last time we tried to sell for a little bit, a few years ago, we had the same kind of tactic. And then suddenly after we were like, yeah, no, you can send us your person. Suddenly there was no person, right? It was just, we were now just open to them finding us a person. And I'm sure this is the same thing. But so they message, they say, oh, we've got a person for you. Can we send them to your property, or can we refer them to you, or whatever? I don't remember specifically, but they basically say we have a person for you, right? So I respond and I say, considering that we do literally everything, sure, we're happy to pay 2% commission for referrals, right? For referrals. That's simply, maybe you've got to do a little bit of man in the middle speak, but it's basically, there's a house. That's pretty much it, right? There's a house, and you get 2% of the house value, which on our house is going to be about 35,000 Rand. That's a lot of money to point someone in our direction. 35,000 Rand. So they respond, and they say, can we do 4% and that, which works out to like 77,000 Rand.
Yeah.
So
just to tell somebody, yes, because everything's done.
Yeah, everything's done. Like
Just the sense of
they don't have to
like,
take pictures. They don't have to even come here. They don't have to walk us through the process. They don't have to find us conveyancing attorneys. Like they don't have to do anything other than send us a person. And he's negotiating for more money than 35,000 rand. He wants 77,000 rand to send us someone. It's simply a referral. Right now, I feel like the system has become so perverse over time, like this whole agent selling property thing, and we're in a really weird place. And I think most people aren't of a position to really maybe people have a problem with it, but they're just like, oh, that's how it is, and what can you do? That's just how it works. That's how everything works. And I can see in some cases this commission being what's the word I'm looking for? This commission being like valid, being like fair, right? Being like a fair payment for work done. But I feel like those situations are, we are near our property, and now I've got this hassle. I've got to go show my property to someone. I've got to get it ready for someone, and all this hassle and find a buyer and all this stuff. I feel like if you just have a side home, a side property, and you just want it sold, I feel like an agent makes perfect
give
sense.
them the keys?
Give them the keys.
Like full done thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go there, they take the pictures, they do the write-up, they post it wherever they need to post it. They would even pay those fees. It's like private property, a third-party site. They would make contact with the clients. They would handle negotiations. They would handle the viewings and arranging the times and like going there and meeting the people and saying, okay, here's the place, and walking them through it, selling it to them at location. I feel like if they do that, I'm 5% commission, no problem. Or maybe even more, depending on like how much of the workload they take, right? Especially if they're like pointing you to, like third-party people. They're managing maybe the electricity. They just ask you, I need this much money. We need to get the electricity certificate signed and the gas certificate signed. If they did like all of that, and I basically just said, agent handles everything, except just tell me how much a client is willing to offer. All I need to do is say yes, that's fine. If that's all I had to do, then that fee makes total sense. Because that's a lot of work, right? That's a lot of work. You need to probably even go there before the people are there, make sure it's clean. You need to get the cleaners there if it's not clean. It's a lot of work, right? It's time, it's sacrifice. You earn your money, right? But we in this situation where like that kind of model is just being applied globally, no matter what the context of the sale is, and it makes no sense. Like in our situation, the agent does absolutely nothing, and they're asking for 77,000 rand to do absolutely nothing but just point someone to us. And that's the fire of why I was like, this needs to be spoken about. This is absolute bullshit.
What if that's their stance? Like you don't have to do anything. So no one asks you to do the pictures, no one asks you to do the viewings.
The thing is, they're not coming to us at the beginning and offering that to us. They're coming to us in the middle of the process when we've already got the thing posted and written up and everything's there, and saying like, can I bring someone to the property you've already put on display and everything. I've even got like showtime set up on there, like that works. Like private property is a great site because it fills in so much of that functionality. But between agent property, like competent people, and conveyancing attorneys, the agent role becomes like almost nothing. Basically, the only thing an agent is worth is getting you people, is a source that maybe buyers trust. Like, oh, this Rawson, I can trust Rawson. But I think private property is kind of that source on its own. It's just getting that visibility, right? Yeah. But essentially, what it comes down to is the only thing an agent is worth to us is finding us people that are willing to buy. And there is value to that. And that's why I say 2%, which is 35,000 rand, which I think is a good amount of money just to point someone in our direction. You've built up that connections, you have a bit of trust behind your name. But like, more than that, I think is totally unjustified. And people just go with it. And this is nonsense. It's just such nonsense.
Did he even justify, he or she?
So what I replied, I said, can you justify 77,000 rand for referring someone to us? I used the words, can you justify 77,000 rand for pointing someone in our direction. And suddenly there were crickets. Because there's no way they can justify that. The only way you can justify that kind of money is with your own time investment, and in which it comes with expertise. Like if you can say, I've got a lot of expertise, and it comes with, it's going to take me a lot of time, I need to find these clients and round them up and organize things and come and show them and like walk them through the house and sell the property for you on site. Then they've got an argument, right? But in our case, they do none of that. So there's absolutely no way they can justify that kind of request. And like I think 35,000 rand is a perfectly healthy amount of money to get for pointing someone to us. And it's giving me this idea, like, if I'm going to pay an agent 35,000 rand for pointing someone to us, why don't we just open that up?
That thought just popped in my head.
Yeah.
It's like we have enough people to like go referral fee.
Yeah, why don't we just like post to your community and like socials and that, and say, if you find us someone that ends up buying our house, we will give you 35,000 rand.
Wow.
That's the agent role as it pertains to us. I admit it's not always, and I think there are some circumstances where the agent role is in a very healthy place, right? But that they took like that healthy place and like doing all that work and like what it comes with, and they just applied that rate as like an agent rate, and they just throw it at everybody, and that's where things get really messed up. So I think in our case, I think what we do is we say to everyone that knows us, everyone that's watching this podcast, if you find us someone that's going to buy our house, we'll give you 35,000 rand, and watch how that spreads, right? Because if that's all we need someone for.
Yeah.
That's all we need an agent for.
How would you validate that then? The buyer would be like so and so person referred me.
Yes, when they would communicate with us, when they would reach out to us, they would say, this person referred me. And I feel like this should be its own business, you know, like it's like almost like a private property kind of thing, but like just aimed purely at like referrals.
But yes, also what could happen with that is that it could just go to the right person that's looking to buy, right?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, and then my cousin now referred me, so give them an extra, or my sister give them an extra. We don't care. We're selling the house at the price we need.
I think basically all that's I mean there's a little bit of admin in making that system work, because we basically need to know who it is that's referring. But like we can just give them something to say when someone reaches out to us. Just let us know.
I think that's a great idea. My only concern is like safety and whatever, but
yeah.
I mean,
safety is a concern, but it's also a concern if someone just reaches out to us directly on the property, like.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to do anyways. We're just going to share that link.
Yeah. In any case, they get the referral once the sale is done.
Yeah. Once we have the money from the sale, they will get the money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I think there's a place for agents, and that place is working with people that aren't going to do anything, but targeting the people that are already doing everything and demanding ridiculous amounts of money for doing nothing does not sit well with me at all. That's about it. Finish now.
No, it's a long story for real estate agents.
For our FUD podcast.
Wasn't this welcome to people?
No. This is a 1995 7 p.m. Mnet prime time.